Hello everybody and welcome to Robert's Reviews. Welcome back if you're new. If you've been here before, welcome. If you're new, consider subscribing. It's a huge help. But we're just gonna keep this one kind of short. But I do want to announce that we have 3 more MCU videos coming out, and that's it. That's really it. We're done with the MCU. I do have this weekend. I had the Falcon and the Winter Soldier coming out, the review for that, as well as the review for Loki, because I forgot to do Falcon and Winter Soldier. I didn't hire a season review, but that will be coming, and so will Loki on the 25th, and then we have Runaway Season 3, and then we have 2 other shows, so we have 3 more weeks after this video comes out, and we're done with the MCU. We've done every single item in the MCU that could possibly exist, including shows and, movies, everything that was at least at one point considered canon, so that's fantastic. After, I don't know if I've ever told anybody this, but after we're done with the MCU, we're going to go back and we're going to watch every single Marvel movie that isn't canon, like Howard the Duck and all the Spider-Man movies. Although all the Spider-Man movies I'm going to do out of order because I'm going to be doing them right before No Way Home comes out. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure you guys are subscribing, following along. But yeah, it's been a long ride. We started this series literally the day that I started the channel on September 5th, 2020. Sorry, 15th. 2020. So we've been going for very many months. That's incredible. It'll be an 11-month series. That's crazy. It took 11 months. That's crazy. But today we're going to be talking about Spider-Man: Far From Home. Spider-Man: Far From Home was released in 2019. It is written by Chris McKenna and Eric Summers and directed by John Watts. And if you can't tell, Spider-Man is my favorite Marvel character. I think Spider-Man is just a fantastic character, and I love every time I get to watch him on screen. I really do. But no spoilers, of course. The general idea is that after the snap, everyone gets brought back, and this takes place immediately. Well, it's a little bit longer after the snap. I think it's like 6 months after the snap. And we kind of just see that everything's kind of gone back to normal. People talk about it as if it's just this weird thing that happened, which really, I think, does bother me a little bit. I think that just the fact that we kind of glossed over it definitely sucked. But I guess if it was 6 months afterwards, they did have some time to process it. But still, it's a huge deal. It's a big deal. A very big change. So I am a little annoyed about it, I guess I should say. That is one of the negatives about this film, is that they do kind of just gloss over it. We do get some better stuff in WandaVision, and even a little bit in the Falcon and Winter Soldier. But the fact that the first thing they released after the snap is this, and they kind of just gloss over it, definitely felt annoying in terms of the fact that we just watched, literally 11 years of content just for it to be kind of like, and yeah, that happened, moving on. But really what we're seeing here is Spider-Man being crippled over the fact that his leader is dead. Iron Man is gone, and he's upset about it, and there's nothing that we can really do about it, right? So he's mourning him, and he misses him, and that's where you kind of pick up the story. But he's going to go on a field trip. It's going to make him feel a lot better. He's going to go to London. He's going to go explore that area. It's going to be great. And he's going to finally, confess his love for MJ. And, it's a great idea. Great start. And then they get there, and then there's just really bad things happening. There's elementals everywhere. And then they meet this really weird person named Quentin Beck, who they go ahead and just call him Mysterio. And he claims that he is there to help stop this world from exploding, because his world exploded in the multiverse. Which was, of course, got everybody excited until, of course, later on in the film. But I'm not going to spoil the rest of the film. But that's basically we have this weird character, Mysterio, who is really, really fun and really, really interesting. And Spider-Man, who just wants to have fun on his vacation, but has to suit up and fight all of these elementals. This movie is pretty good. I don't think it's as good as its predecessor. I do think Spider-Man Homecoming is better in general. This movie is just different. I feel like we can't really compare the two because they're just very different. The first one's tone is just light, fluffy, and having fun, and just accidentally being in trouble. This one's definitely got a lot more meat to it. It definitely is tonally a darker film. There's a lot less joking around. There's a lot more just danger everywhere. I do think in the next the next Homecoming edition, I guess, so No Way Home, will be dark, but I do think that it will be funny, and I think that they're going to have to strike a balance between the two, because right now, in Far From Home, there really wasn't a whole lot of comedy. There was a really good amount of dark tones, and there was the boat, the bus scene was really funny, and like beyond that, it really wasn't funny, which is okay, but like I prefer my Spider-Man to be funny. In No Way Home, I am anticipating it being more of a drama than a comedy, but that's okay. This one definitely had the beef to deserve to be a drama. It definitely worked very well. It was a very strong action film. And a lot of that has to go to Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio, who is just this awesome enigma character. I mean, he is so fantastic. I mean, Jake Gyllenhaal is great all the time, but like in this film, he was just really, really good at what he did, which is playing the good guy and playing the bad guy at the same time, which is a difficult feat, and not many people can accomplish it, but Jake Gyllenhaal, of course he can. He can do everything. But I was really, really happy with his performance overall. And I think that having that villain was really, really good. I grew up watching the villain, reading the villain in comics. I didn't read a lot of the comics, but I did read some Spider-Man comics when I was younger, because I had them in my library. And so I'd go and I'd read them, and I did read one about Mysterio, the origin of Mysterio. Great book, great comic. And I did enjoy the character Mysterio. I was like, oh, that's really cool. I'd love to see him in a film at some point. I literally grew up hoping to see him in a film, because after Spider-Man 3, we had the Amazing Spider-Man movies, and I was like, Mysterio could totally pop up here, and then he didn't. But then he popped up in Far From Home, and I was like, finally, we got Mysterio back, baby. Really excited to see that. And I like the way that they did use him in a modern way, because he used to be, in the comics, he was a Hollywood film director, special effects editor kind of guy, and he would use those to, you know, do scary things. But here, he uses drones because it is a much more modern thing, and no one would really believe you if you said in 2019 that some guy with special effects is doing that in the sky. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And a lot of people are complaining about the drones, and I get it. It's a little quirky, but I think it does work, especially in the ending where I can't spoil, but like Spider-Man does a really awesome Spider-Sense thing. Worked really great. I really did enjoy that. And I am wondering if we do have the issue of Spider-Man doesn't become Spider-Man again. Because if you remember in Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man loses a lot of his powers, and he starts to figure, like, not understanding what's going on. That kind of might be what's happening here with him in his Peter Tingle. I don't think it is, but it is possible. It's a light little thing that might pop up in the future, and that'd be really cool if it happened. But overall, Spider-Man Far From Home is just a really fun movie. Definitely, you know, not as funny as its predecessor, but definitely it's got a lot of Spider-Man swings, got a lot of Spider-Man puns, got a lot of really great action scenes, and the ending is just fantastic. The end credit scenes are just really, really awesome. So I'm going to have to go ahead and give Spider-Man Far From Home an A. Not my favorite, but it has to be one of my favorites because I love Spider-Man. Spider-Man is like, he's my favorite character for sure. But let me know what you guys thought of Spider-Man Far From Home in the comments below. I want to know. And then make sure you guys are subscribing, because if I'm not already there, once I hit 150 subscribers, I'm going to be dressing up like Spider-Man and going to Walmart. So if you want to see that, make sure you guys are subscribing, liking the video, and following along. And as always, keep watching movies and television, stay educated, and I'll see you guys in the next video.